Happy fall season vibes. When is the first day of fall? It's certainly not the first day of fall when I'm filming this. I'm about to start reading my fall TBR anyway. Up on the docket for this week's reading vlog, I want to finish Flowers from the Void. I am on the 4th short story out of this collection, and so far every single one of them have been phenomenal and have only been getting better and better as I'm reading them. So I'm hoping that they just continue to keep getting better. There are 13 stories in the whole collection and I'm 42% of the way through. So I don't know if they just put like all of the longer ones in the front because they were very long, the ones that I was reading. An arc that I also want to read is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. That is an audiobook, so that'll be a little interesting for you guys in the reading vlog, I guess. That is a novella that I know nothing really about. There is a bug. Go out there. I'm just gonna ignore it. ML Rio is also the author of If We Were Villains, which I have not read, but I really want to read it. I don't own a physical copy of it, and it's a longer story, so that's not as high of a priority for me, but the arc of Graveyard Shift I really would love to read, and it's an audiobook, so I'm probably going to play Minecraft while listening to it, or maybe start another crochet project. I don't really know, but we'll cross that bridge when we have to get to it. Some other books I want to read: The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is an If I Get to It book, so we'll see. One I definitely want to read is Morbidly Yours. This is so short and it seems like a really fun read. I don't think it's like inherently fall and like spooky season vibes, but it'll have just enough of the vibes of autumn to qualify for this TBR this week. Since we're kind of shifting into the fall season, I think this will be a good bridge. Last up on my TBR is Dracula, the graphic novel. I think this won't take me very long to read. I don't know, I just wanted to read a graphic novel this week, so this is one of the books. I do have a couple more arcs that I need to get through within the next couple days. There's a handful of other graphic novels, but I don't know if I'll get to them in this vlog. Make sure to follow me on Goodreads so that you can keep up with all of my reviews and the ones that I don't include in reading vlogs, because I am reading a lot more outside of the reading vlogs. That is our little TBR for this week. I hope you're excited. I'm excited. Let's get to reading. Okay, I just read another short story from the Flowers from the Void collection. This one I didn't enjoy as much. I feel like the ending wrapped up super quickly. It was basically this guy was in a car accident, and so he was in a coma for like 6 months, and there's some weird things happening to him where like time freezes. The doctors were basically like, oh, it's just your brain is like lagging because you were in an accident and you were in a coma, so like just take these pills when it happens and you'll snap out of it. The ending just kind of happens and there's no real resolve or like explanation as to like anything really. It's left super open-ended, so I think I just would have liked a little bit more clarity, because there was also some weird stuff happening with this guy and his mother-in-law that I was like, okay, maybe he's like a time traveler and like he's glitching, or like, I don't know. I was trying to think of any explanation and she never gave you one, so that one was kind of a bummer. It's not bad though, like the writing is so good still, so I give it like a 3 out of 5 for that one, but the past 2 have been 5 out of 5, 6 out of 5 maybe. But I think I'm gonna take a break because I'm so tired, you guys, and I ran out of my coffee creamer, so I'm like, didn't even touch this. Thought I could convince myself to like black coffee. I can't. So I think I'm gonna switch to the Graveyard Shift audiobook, which looks pretty cool. Ooh. This one is only 3 hours and 9 minutes. It's like nothing. So I'm gonna play some Minecraft and probably listen to this entire novella. hold on, pause. That beginning to that audiobook, I'm scared. And I guess this is gonna have different voice actors, which is really exciting. I think this is gonna be a fantastic audiobook. I am an hour and 40 minutes left. I'm about halfway through this audiobook. To be honest, it's not going anywhere near the direction I thought it would go. And I don't know if I like it. The vibes are good. It is definitely eerie. It's not as scary as I initially thought it was gonna be, like when I first talked to you guys about this book. It's just not going the direction I thought it would go, but it's not bad. I got sick of playing Minecraft, so I'm not doing that anymore. We're gonna continue to listen because I want to get it over with. Let's keep reading Graveyard Shift. Hey guys, I moved to the bed and I'm cuddling with my lion. Something is happening right now. So like I told you guys, it's not going the direction I thought it would go, where it's like straight up horror. It's like got an element of like science to it and experiments. A reveal just happened. It wasn't a crazy thing, but it was just enough to make me interested again because I was 100% losing interest. There is 10 minutes left in this book, and to be honest, nothing really has happened. I wish I was liking this more than I am, unless something really crazy twists and turns in the next 10 minutes. This is probably going to be like a 3-star. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. This is a pretty big disappointment for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Acknowledgements. The writing of this book happened.
That's the end? That's the end. That's the end. Wow. My camera battery is dead. I'm gonna go change that and we can talk more about my thoughts on this. You guys. The story never went in the direction I thought it was gonna go in, and to be honest, it was really quite boring and had a lot of, in my mind, useless information and like no real payoff. For me, when I'm reading a book, if I'm given useless information about the characters or about their relationships to each other, etc., I would prefer it to impact the story. Learning that somebody's favorite food is chicken noodle soup comes to play in the future, where like someone they love gives them chicken noodle soup. That's just an example. Not that that happened in the book, but do you know what I'm saying? It just felt like there was no explanation for the information we were being given. Like it was just like, here, for like no real reason in my mind. The actual conflict at hand wasn't ever really a conflict, and even the mystery wasn't ever really a mystery. I would say the thing I liked the most about the story itself was the actual like atmosphere of being at the graveyard and being in this spooky environment. The writing wasn't bad. I don't want you to think that like I'm saying the writing was bad or anything like that, but just for me, the story didn't pack a punch. I think I'm gonna give it like a 2.75. Graveyard Shift comes out on this day, so feel free to check it out if you would like to. Thank you, NetGalley, for allowing me to read these arcs. I am loving it. I'm grateful I get to read books and recommend them to you guys. I'm trying to decide what I want to read next. I think I need like a vibe shift. I honestly think I might start Morbidly Yours because that's more of a cozy romance. really not kidding when I say this is horror, and don't even try to read this if you are queasy or easily disturbed. That one was about an eye-snatching monster from the monster's perspective, and it was very detailed and very gruesome and very disturbing, and I loved it. I just want to keep reading more of them. The writing is so good. I'm like, okay, cool. And then something completely outlandish happens and I'm like, what the is going on here? And then I just can't stop reading because I'm so sucked in. Also, a new thing I started doing just now because I could not stay focused was listen to brown noise. This creator, Emmy, I was watching one of her 24-hour reading videos and she said she listens to brown noise to help her stay focused, and it's really helping me. That is a really clutch tip if you are having a hard time concentrating on your book. I got about 30 pages into Morbidly Yours and I'm really liking it so far. I am now 58% of the way through Flowers from the Void. I think I'll read another one. They've been getting shorter as we've been going on and I've been really liking that. So I'm hoping the next one is going to be short. I don't even know what to do with myself right now. These short stories just keep getting more disturbing. That one was insane. I'm gonna take a pause. I'm now 66% of the way through that book. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. It is 8 o'clock at night. I might pick something up, I don't know. I may attempt to read some more of Morbidly Yours, or I might go to bed. There's really no telling. I will see you in the morning. A lot of reading updates for you guys. I just finished the short story collection Flowers from the Void by Gianni Washington. I'll give you my thoughts about that one in just a second because I have a lot of them. Last night, while I was trying to go to bed, I read How Could You? And that one's by Ren Strap. And then I read Thief of the Heights by Sun M, and Robin Yao is the illustrator. The illustrations were really beautiful in that book. I have no complaint when it comes to the illustrations usually in graphic novels. I think they're stunning. How Could You was good. I gave that one 3 stars. It wasn't great, anything to write home about. It was really difficult to root for the main character because they just kept being unlikable. I don't mind unlikable characters, but when it's super far-fetched and there's no redeemable quality about them, I have a very hard time with it. But I think having unlikable characteristics is very human, and so I like that when characters have that aspect. But this character just kept doing the wrong thing over and over again and kept not learning from her mistakes, so I didn't really like that aspect of it. So basically the graphic novel is about like the entanglement of queer friendships and relationships. There were parts where I was definitely laughing out loud because the art was super funny, and then other times I was feeling like actually so sorry for some of the characters in the book. Overall, it was a 3-star read. That's really all I can say about it. Thief of the Heights. This one is super not known. It has 5 ratings and 1 review right now, and it comes out October 22nd. Definitely still a long way away from coming out. I also read this really late at night and I just binged the whole thing. I mean, I tend to read graphic novels all in one sitting. This one was so intricate in the world building, and I think that's my biggest qualm with it, is that it wasn't very difficult to follow, but it was just not easy. Sometimes when fantasy is written, it is delivered in a way that's like, hey, I'm not gonna hold your hand and you're just gonna have to figure this out as we go. Brandon Sanderson is a great example of that, and I think there's a good way to do it, and then there's a way that's just you're thrown in, there's zero explanation, and you just have to figure this shit out for yourself. And that is how that book felt, and I am still not 100% on what the goal was, what we even accomplished in this story. Basically, that one was about, imagine a dystopian world where there's like 3 tiers for people to live in. So there's like the lower level, which is kind of like the lower class. Then there's like the middle class, and then the high class elite, which is called heaven. It's about these 3 teenagers trying to get to the top so they can help the people at the bottom is the idea. But there's like an underlying rebellion happening. There's like a weird illness. I don't know. I just don't know. It is irreversible, I think, and you have to like remove appendages in order to stop the sickness. They never explain it, so I can't tell you. It wasn't bad. I haven't left a review yet for it because I'm still processing. I'm probably going to give that one a 3-star because it wasn't bad. And I liked the characters. I just wish some aspects of it were explained a little bit better. Okay, I'm about to rant about Flowers from the Void. Some of the short stories in that collection were 3 stars and some of them were 6 stars. So I think I'm going to have to round it out to a 4.5. The latter half of the collection, it missed the initial punch that the first story had, and I can see why the first stories were there because they were so phenomenal. Each story was still really good. They weren't as good as the front half of the collection. What I will say though is that, like, I don't know how Gianni did it, but I feel so invested in every single story in that collection that even though they were 3 stars, I think the only reason I'm really giving them 3 stars is because the story didn't have enough time and it left me kind of hanging in the air, which if that was her goal, she nailed it. It's like I am left wanting to know more about these characters and I feel so attached to some of them that my biggest con is I wish each story had their own novel. I wish I had more time and more pages to actually figure out what happens to these characters and to learn more about the world building because they're each so unique and so intricate that my brain feels overwhelmed. And I was trying to read the short story collection pretty quickly because it comes out on September 3rd. Today is the 1st. So I wanted to get my review out there before it comes out. I genuinely think had that not been the reason I read it so fast, I would have taken like a week or 2 to read this because there was just so much in the best way possible. So if horror is a genre you are open to or like trying to find new reads for, Flowers from the Void, I can't say it enough. Oh my god. I have never been a horror reader. I don't like scary movies. I don't like gory things or like suspense. I get like literal anxiety for the characters watching them on the TV. So it's very hard for me to watch stuff like that or even read it. I don't know how she did it. They're phenomenal stories. I will say they're very gruesome, they are grotesque, and they will disturb you in the best, like, phenomenal writing you can imagine. I said this in my fall TBR, I'm shocked that she is not a more known writer and author because wow, I can't wait to read other things by Gianni Washington because this was just so good. Another note I will say is that the stories, you have to go in accepting that you're not gonna know what the is happening most of the time until like the very end of the story and everything is like revealed. The way she stitched everything together too, oh my god, I'm just so impressed. They all thematically worked too. Like some of them were about a literal monster, some of them were about a shadow person, another was about a witch trying to join a coven, another was about, that one's a spoiled one, another one was about a man who made robots. Like it sounds so ridiculous, but when you're reading them, they flow so well together. That is my little reading update for now. I did start Morbidly Yours. I got to page 26. The writing is very small, so it's taking me a little bit to read, but I am enjoying this. I mean, we're barely into the story, but I already like our main characters. I'm interested in their dynamic. I really enjoy the setting, which is in Ireland. I think it's really good so far, so I'm excited to keep reading this one. I think my plan for today is to read this guy, maybe pick up another book that I have an arc for because I need to start working through those books. I totally forgot to include this in my fall TBR because I have it right here as like a display book for my spooky section, but it's Grimoire Noir, which is also a graphic novel. The vibes are so good. I want to read this one too. It's like a mystery with ghosts involved, I think, but it looks so good. That's it. I'm gonna stop yapping. just finished Grimoire Noir. It was so good. I give it 5 stars. I think now, after having read a handful of graphic novels that are kind of similar to this is a 5-star for sure. The artwork is incredible in this. Oh my gosh. It is like the perfect gothic, atmospheric, spooky but not scary vibes. Like, oh my gosh. I love this so much. Our main character, Bucky, his sister goes missing. The town is like a magical town. All of the women have magical powers, so they're all technically like witches. And his sister has like a lot of powers. The whole book is like the journey to find her, but then stuff gets revealed about like the town's history. Dude, it was so much, but like so good at the same time, and the world building was so easy to follow. I love the way that this wrapped up the story at the very end. All the things I didn't like in the other graphic novels, this did really, really well. Plus, it's stunning. I actually don't know if I can part with this. It's gorgeous. I honestly think I might keep this, reread it every fall, just because it's such a good atmospheric read. It looks so good just sitting up here on the table. That was fun. I do think I'm gonna switch gears and actually read Morbidly Yours instead of this one. That's my little reading update. I will let you guys know what happens while we read Morbidly Yours. Happy Monday. Do I have some reading updates for you? I got to chapter 11, page 77 in Morbidly Yours. And guys, I think we may have a 5-star potential on our hands. I know what I said about the cover when I first got it and showed you guys this in my fall TBR. It's growing on me and I'm actually really loving the cover, but I'm also really loving the story itself more than I thought I would. Callum, he is incredible. He is so sweet. He's very shy, very like introverted, and doesn't love to go out into public, which relatable. And then Lark is the extrovert who like makes friends really easily and loves to go out and meet new people, but she is struggling with the grief of losing her husband and she feels responsible for his death, which we don't know why yet. She has not disclosed that information to Callum yet and is just saying that she is divorced and that it was really hard for her her and stuff like that, but hasn't disclosed this to him. The way that they like meet, she moves to Ireland. Next door is a funeral parlor, and Callum is the owner of the funeral parlor, or at least he's running it. And in order for him to inherit the funeral home, he has to be married by his 35th birthday, which is in 8 months. He has a lot of work to do in order to find a wife, and he of course wants romance, he wants all of that, but he has just put work first, and also his lack of social skills has caused him to have trouble in the romance department. But with Lark, it's just so easy to be able to talk to her for some reason. Lark living next to a funeral home is triggering for her in her grief. At first she wants to run away from it and is like, no, I want nothing to do with this place, and like is cowering away from it. And then now she is like gradually accepting Callum and this funeral parlor. So I think it's gonna be a really healing book for Lark. Callum is gonna obviously find out the news and then help her process that grief. One of the reasons he loves working at the funeral parlor is that he is able to console and like be there for people, and he views the people that have passed that come through his funeral parlor as people, and that the people that are grieving them he has like the biggest heart for. So I think they're just a great duo. Also, I love, she's an illustrator, Lark is, and that is very interesting because she is an animator like for movies. I've never read a book with that as the main character's job, so I find that very, very interesting. And also I don't mind reading about her work dynamic, where I feel like with a lot of romance books you are really only caring about the romance aspects, and like when the main characters have their own life situations you're like, oh my god, like hurry up, get back to each other, like I don't care. I'm finding myself actually caring about Lark's work life. The writing is so phenomenal in this story. I did not expect it. I guess the second one has already been, I don't think it's been announced, but I followed and kind of stalked the author on Instagram, and the second one is gonna come out at some point. I know who the main character is gonna be in that one, and I'm actually really excited about it. Here's the things that I'm worried about with this book. I think there could be room for a miscommunication trope because she has not disclosed that she is a widow, and for me, I hate miscommunication tropes. I just don't know if I see Callum being like upset about that, so I'm just hoping that that is not like a main plot point in this book, or it will dramatically bring down the rating for me. I'm also afraid of a third act breakup, and I'm really not going to enjoy that. I can see it coming even from a quarter of the way in the book just because I know how romance books go. So that is my update for Morbidly Yours. I do want to recommend this for you even though I'm barely into this. If you are looking for like a cozy atmospheric fall vibe, this takes place in November. I think the vibes are still there. I mean, you're on the coast of Ireland. The vibe is so good in this book. It's very autumnal. I really do think this is going to be like one of my favorite books, and I did not expect that. Also, listening to brown noise has changed the reading game for me. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my coffee. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. We do have some chores to do today, but I plan on bringing my book with me because it's so good. Yeah, that's about the only update I have for you. We had to do some chores and stuff in Jackson and come here, and I wanted to go to the bookstore, and I figured we might as well go to some little libraries. So we're here at one. We're gonna go walk to it, but I'm gonna donate these 2 books. I'm never ever gonna read this, and I DNF'd this one. Let's go. This might be my favorite place to ever exist in the history of that book. Don't know if we're gonna find any books, but honestly, I don't care. Peter Rabbit. I already have this, but that's crazy. Wow. The Bad Guys. The Miracle at Speedway Motors. A lot of kids' books. Oh, this one's a little graphic novel. Cute. I think I'm gonna organize these a bit. I'm obsessed with this one and the area itself. I wish I had found something. It's really cool that they have the secret history in here. 10 out of 10, 100%. Are we going?
We're going.
Oh. We are here at one of the little libraries that we went to for my birthday blog, which if you have not checked that out, go check that video out. I'm gonna donate Hellbent because I don't own Ninth House. I got this from a little library sale for 25 cents. And to be honest with you, if I ever get Ninth House, I'm probably not gonna get the hardcover. I have a lot of reasons, but I have no reason for keeping this, and somebody else can enjoy this, so might as well donate it. Let's go. This is also the one that I donated my book to, so I'm kind of nervous that somebody grabbed it and then just brought it back.
Oh, your book?
My book.
Oh.
Like wrapped up as a blind date for a book. So
Uh-huh.
I'm afraid somebody might not have liked it and brought it back. Goosebumps. Oh my god, that's so fun. That actually would be really fun to find like an older Goosebump. See, like Vacation, that's probably a kid's book, but that is so pretty. Oh, see, my book is still here. I feel like I need to put YA fantasy on this because I feel like some parents are like, we don't know what that is.
Maybe move it from the kids section too.
Yeah. Spooky pooky. Okay, we're gonna come. Hang on a bit. Oh my god. Wishing for Tomorrow, Paper Towns, classic, Stranded, The Right Three. That looks cool though.
But it's spelled like your last name.
Yeah, like your last name too, Trevor. Oh, Lion Boy. Oh my god. This is the second one, I think. Yeah, book 2. I read this when I was a child and I obsessed over it. It was in red font instead of blue. That brings a lot of memories back. Journey of Socrates. That's kind of interesting. I'm gonna just sit on the floor. This one I looked at last time and I contemplated it. The 2 I donated. Nobody likes my book. Herbal medicine. Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. I definitely wish I'd found something, but it's not the end of the world. We are gonna go to a bookstore now. That I'm excited about. Are you excited, Trevor? Then we're gonna go to Target for some stuff and Albertsons. Let's go. Hey guys, here with an update for ya. I just spent all day reading Morbidly Yours. It's on like page 94 and I read the entire rest of this book today. You guys, it was so good. This was so good. I fear it may be my new favorite romance book. I don't know what Ivy put in this, but she did a hell of a good job. All of the things that I said I was concerned about, like the miscommunication between her expressing her grief and how she had lost her husband, and that I was afraid of a third act breakup, all of my fears came to pass. But I think Ivy handled it in a really good way. I was mad, like raging mad for like that long, and then I was over it and I was like, ah, guys, just kiss and make up. I think she did something right because normally I would be burning this book by that point. Not literally. I would never burn a book, literally. I give this 5 stars. The romance bits were so good. The spice was tasteful. Callum, she did it. She really did that. Even Lark is so likable, and I think between the two, well, they both are really well-rounded characters. Like, they had likable qualities and unlikable qualities. How do I put this? Like, Lark dealing with her grief and growing and healing through all of that stuff, like her character development from the beginning of this book to the end of the book was so good. I mentioned this in one of my other updates, but like, I actually cared what was happening for them at work and in the subplot. So like, him having to be married by his 35th birthday and that whole plot line, and like caring about the actual funeral parlor, and then her job as an animator. Like, I was so invested in everybody and what they were doing. The side characters were to die for. I loved them. I really have no bad thing to say about this book. Towards the ending, I did start just like skimming the dialogue and having to like reread certain things because I was so tired. I'm still so tired from reading and binging this whole book today. I'm gonna keep this and possibly reread the I would say like the last 50 pages is when I started being like, what's going on? Can we just get to it, guys? The reason I want to reread it is because the writing is so good. I feel like with some romance books, okay, they sacrifice prose and description and all of that stuff for the romance in the scenes. Am I making sense? Ivy did such a good job of creating this world. Like, oh my god, and then the freaking setting on like the coast of Ireland. Are you kidding me? That was so good. And then the implementation of like the Irish language, and she even had pronunciation and translation guides. Bro, that was so helpful, especially with some of the names. Yeah, names and then different words. I just think she did such a good job. All I can say is I recommend this book. There is definitely some triggers for like grief and dealing with loss of a loved one, so if that is stuff you're sensitive to, just something to note. It's so good, you guys. This is definitely one of my favorite books of the year, and that is crazy because I never would have thought that. We're still in the midst of a reading vlog though. We'll figure out what I'm gonna read next tomorrow morning, I think. I still would love to read the Dracula graphic novel, and then, oh, I did pick up a book from the bookstore, Monstrilio. I think that's how you pronounce this. I wanna say like last spooky season, somebody recommended this and said it was a really good horror novel, and it was really tasteful, and like the characters are really good. And so I added it to my TBR, and I've had my eyes out there for it. And sure enough, at the Jackson Hole Book Trader, I found myself a copy. I'm excited. This is so like nice. It's like a textured cover. Bizarre and brilliant, a modern Frankenstein is kind of the vibe of this. I'm excited to read it. I think it'll be spooky and eerie, but it is also a meditation on grief, acceptance, and the monstrous sides of love and loyalty. That sounds fantastic. It's this mother whose son passes away, and so she keeps a piece of him and tries to bring him back, but it isn't him, or at least I don't think it's him. It is this creature, Monstrilio, that now comes to life and I think causes a bunch of terror and trouble and is a horrific creature. I dare say that that's a little creepy. I'm excited to read this one. I think it'll be perfect for the fall season. That is enough yapping. I'm gonna go ahead, go to bed, unwind, and I will see you in the morning. It is 6:30 and this is the first time I'm talking to you guys today. I spent all day reading and editing this video. I decided to pick up I Need You to Read This because it is an arc I have. The book is already out and I feel like I'm slacking on my arcs. It sounded really interesting. I think this one might be a mystery thriller. I mean, just based off of the cover alone. This book is about our main character, Alex. Alex's job is copywriting for a pharmaceutical company and she does not like her job, but she's doing what she's got to do. She lives in New York and Alex's hero, Frances Keene, ran a famous advice column named Dear Constance. She was murdered. They haven't caught who did it. There's a lot of mystery about her death in general. One day, Alex spontaneously decides to apply for the job since now there's an opening, and it's been 8 months since Frances died. She gets the job. She just has a way with giving advice, and honestly I love that aspect of it. Like, the writing is really good. The prologue is the moments right before Frances is murdered, so that's really interesting. The writing is really good, I will say that. Kind of feel like Alex is an unreliable narrator for some reason. There's a big mystery as to why she is in New York, and she's been there for 7 years now, but she like fled from her hometown and we still don't know why. She's very concerned with having her identity out there in the world because she is running from something or someone, and we still don't know what or who that is. I'm kind of interested to figure that part out. I am 26% of the way into this book and I'm flying through it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm binging the whole thing. It's really easy to read. It's very slow moving though in the beginning. Like, genuinely not a lot has happened. I can see where things can go, and I've started highlighting things that I'm suspicious about. So like a character's introduction, I'm like, are you a bad guy? Even things that Alex is saying and thinking, I'm like, I'm suspicious kind of everybody. Honestly, hoping this goes in a completely different direction and that I'm wrong, because that's no fun. I can literally see like scenes happening in the future and I'm like, please tell me that this is not a foreshadow to this scene happening, because I'll actually be kind of disappointed. I'm wanting to be wrong. Like, I really want to be wowed. So yeah, that's really my update. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this tomorrow or not. I want to get at least to 50% of the way through it. Right now, this is like a 3 or 4-star read, potentially. We'll see where we go. That is my reading update. I did read Dracula. I enjoyed it. It was a lot spookier than I anticipated it being. I've never read Dracula before, so there was a lot of aspects to the book that I just had never thought would be in there, like Van Helsing, just a bunch of different aspects. So I did enjoy it. I still would love to read the actual book by Bram Stoker. It was a fun little read, and I'm definitely going to keep it and Frankenstein so that I can read it like every year during spooky season. The art was so cool, and the like gore aspect of it and everything was like honestly really fun. That's my update on Dracula. I'm gonna give it like a 4-star. It wasn't anything to like be blown away by, but it wasn't bad by any means. I did get accepted for even more arcs. That's kind of why I panicked and I was like, I need to read one of these arcs like right now. To be honest, my goal is to read like an arc a day to catch up. This is again another reminder to follow me on Goodreads so that you can see all of the books that I'm reading outside of reading vlogs. That's enough yapping. I will see you tomorrow. I did not end up getting 50% of the way into this book yet. I am actually 37% of the way into I Need You to Read This. It's very slowly getting a little bit more suspenseful, and I am definitely more suspicious of different people. I'm very interested in her job. Right now she's having to read all of the letters that have been sent to Dear Constance since Frances has been dead. I just have so many like different ideas in my head of where this could go and like who killed Frances and who is kind of, I wouldn't say targeting Alex yet. They have her in their sights, you can tell. I'm pretty intrigued by this book. I'm definitely gonna finish it. Not in this vlog though. I'm actually gonna end the vlog here. If you stuck around this long, thank you. Give this video a like if you liked it. Don't forget to comment down below. All in all, I'm really happy with all the books that I read this week. I read so much. I don't actually remember how much I read. I read so many graphic novels. Oh yeah, I read Graveyard Shift. What else did I read? Morbidly Yours, which I love. But all in all, this was a very fun, cozy reading vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would love to make more reading vlogs in the future, especially when we go further into fall and make them even more cozier and pick more of my fall TBR to read. I'm just super excited about the fall season in general. I have a lot of fun video ideas coming up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time I post a new video. That's all I got for you. I will see you in the next one. Bye!